In the quiet town of Willow Creek, nestled between the rolling hills of Montana and the endless expanse of the prairie sky, lived a woman named Elena Harper. She was once the epitome of grace and vitality, her laughter echoing through the streets like the chime of wind bells on a summer breeze, but that was before the storm of loss swept through her life, leaving nothing but wreckage in its wake. It started with the fire, a relentless blaze that consumed her family home one fateful night, the flames dancing mockingly as they devoured memories etched into every corner, every photograph, every heirloom passed down from generations. Elena had been away that evening, attending a distant cousin's wedding, oblivious to the horror unfolding until the phone call shattered her world. Her husband, Mark, and their 2 young children, Lily and Jack, perished in the inferno, trapped in the upstairs bedrooms while she danced under twinkling lights miles away. The guilt was immediate, a venomous serpent coiling around her heart, whispering accusations that she should have been there, that her absence was the catalyst for their demise. In the days that followed, Elena wandered through the ashes of her life like a ghost, her once vibrant eyes now hollow sockets reflecting the void within. She lost her job at the local bakery, unable to muster the strength to knead dough or smile at customers when her soul felt like it was crumbling into dust. Friends tried to reach out, offering platitudes and casseroles, but their words bounced off her like rain on parched earth, unable to penetrate the drought of her grief. The bank foreclosed on the remnants of her property, citing unpaid bills that had piled up in her numbness, and soon she found herself adrift, homeless and hopeless, sleeping in her battered old sedan parked on the outskirts of town. Each night, as the stars wheeled overhead in indifferent silence, Elena would clutch a faded photograph of her family, tears carving salty paths down her cheeks, wondering if there was any point in drawing another breath. The world had stripped her bare, leaving her drowning in an ocean of sorrow where every wave threatened to pull her under for good. It was on one such desolate evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon painting the sky in hues of blood and gold, that she first encountered him, the cowboy named Wyatt Kane. He rode into town on a weathered stallion named Thunder, his silhouette cutting a striking figure against the fading light, broad shoulders clad in a dusty leather jacket, a wide-brimmed hat shadowing eyes that had seen too many sunrises and sunsets alone. Wyatt was a drifter by nature, a man forged in the fires of his own tragedies, having lost his ranch to a brutal drought years ago and his beloved wife to a sudden illness that no doctor could cure. He wandered the West, taking odd jobs herding cattle or mending fences, his heart a fortified fortress against the pain that once nearly broke him. But there was a quiet strength in Wyatt, a resilience born from staring down the barrel of despair and choosing to pull the trigger on hope instead. He spotted Elena's car by the side of the dirt road, its windows fogged with her breath, and something in him stirred, a flicker of recognition for the broken soul inside. Approaching cautiously, his boots crunching on the gravel, he knocked gently on the window, startling her from her reverie. "Ma'am, you all right in there?" His voice rumbled like distant thunder, warm and steady despite the roughness. Elena rolled down the window just a crack, her eyes wary and red-rimmed, expecting judgment or pity, but Wyatt offered neither. Instead, he extended a calloused hand holding a thermos of hot coffee, steam curling into the cool air like a promise. "Looks like you could use this more than I could," he said simply, no questions asked, no demands made. She hesitated, but the aroma of fresh brew pierced through her fog, and she accepted it, the warmth seeping into her fingers like the first rays of dawn after an eternal night. That small act of kindness was the thread that began to weave their fates together, a fragile connection in a world that had torn her apart. Over the next few days, Wyatt found reasons to linger in Willow Creek, taking a job at the nearby Double Bar Ranch, where the owner, Old Man Harlan, needed an extra hand for the calving season. He would pass by Elena's spot each morning on his way to work, leaving small tokens, a blanket one day, a basket of apples the next, never pushing, always respecting the invisible walls she had built around her shattered heart. Elena watched him from afar at first, intrigued by this stranger who seemed to carry his own burdens yet moved with purpose, his horse's hooves kicking up dust as he rode with the wind. Curiosity gnawed at her isolation, and one afternoon, as rain began to patter against her car roof, she ventured out to the ranch, drawn by an inexplicable pull. There, amid the lowing of cattle and the scent of hay, she saw Wyatt in his element, roping a stray calf with effortless skill, his muscles rippling under his shirt, sweat glistening on his brow. He noticed her standing by the fence, and with a tip of his hat, he approached, wiping his hands on his jeans. "Didn't expect company today," he drawled, a hint of a smile tugging at his lips, revealing a dimple that softened his rugged features. Elena stammered something about returning the thermos, but Wyatt waved it off. "Keep it. Reckon it's found a better home." Their conversation started haltingly, words tumbling out like hesitant streams merging into a river. She shared fragments of her loss, the fire that stole her everything, the grief that choked her every waking moment. Wyatt listened without interruption, his eyes holding hers with a depth that made her feel seen for the first time in months. In turn, he spoke of his own scars, the ranch he built with his bare hands only to watch it wither, the wife he buried under a lone oak tree, her laughter forever silenced. Life's a mean bronco sometimes, he said, leaning against the fence as the rain intensified, kicks you off, stomps on you good. But you gotta get back in the saddle, or it'll ride away without you. His words weren't empty, they carried the weight of experience, and in them, Elena glimpsed a spark, a reason to fight the currents pulling her down. As weeks turned into months, their encounters grew from chance meetings to deliberate companionship. Wyatt invited her to the ranch more often, teaching her the rhythms of ranch life, how to mend a fence or gentle a skittish foal. Elena's hands, once idle in despair, found purpose in the soil, planting seeds in the small garden Harlan let her tend. The physical labor was a balm, exhausting her body so her mind could rest, and Wyatt's presence was the anchor she didn't know she needed. He shared stories around campfires, tales of wild mustangs and starry nights, his voice a soothing baritone that chased away her nightmares. One evening, as they sat by a crackling fire under a canopy of stars, Elena opened up fully, sobs racking her frame as she confessed the guilt that haunted her. Wyatt pulled her into his arms, his embrace strong yet tender, smelling of leather and earth. "You didn't cause that fire, darlin'. Blamin' yourself won't bring 'em back. But livin', really livin', that's how you honor 'em." In that moment, something shifted. The grief that had drowned her began to recede, replaced by a tentative hope, kindled by the cowboy's unwavering belief in second chances. Their bond deepened with the changing seasons, autumn leaves giving way to winter's hush. Wyatt showed Elena the beauty in the mundane, the way snow blanketed the land like a fresh start, the warmth of a shared meal in Harlan's cozy kitchen. He courted her slowly, with gestures that spoke louder than words, a hand-carved wooden locket holding a pressed flower from her garden.